Hey, welcome to the stream.
Hello.
Welcome to the stream, everybody.
What's going on, brother? How are
Not
you?
much, man.
How
What's up
are
with you?
you?
I'm
How you
pretty
doing?
good about yourself.
Doing a little bit of everything here, brother.
I
We
see that. I
getting
see that.
yeah. We got it all going on here in the Johnny piece.
In the
So
studio, man. I miss that studio. It's been a
I
minute
know,
since I've been
man.
there.
It's been
So
a bit of time.
for everybody tuning in live, as you see below, you'll see the dark and the elevation and the dark results.
Yeah, elevation's
Scrolling
gonna run
through the
first.
bottom of the screen. And for the audio viewers who are listening on Spotify, we'll run through some quick ones real quick, just to give you the heads up on all the winners and losers real quick. And then we're going to jump into our main event, which is
All the
Dynamite, Blood and
blood and all
Guts.
the guts.
Not all the guts, but all the blood, definitely.
Lots of
Man.
people wanted guts, but they didn't
Yeah,
get guts. Sorry.
people were out their minds. So I'll run through both shows real quick, and then you just go over the list of Dynamite. But just real quick, Miro destroys Will All Day. Abaddon defeated Mizunami. Moxley defeats Andrew Palace. 10 destroys D3. Cassie beats VSK. FTR beats the Hughes Bros. Nyla Rose destroys Maddie Rankowski. Camarado destroys Baron Black. I'm pretty sure he's injured now after that. They ain't sponsoring us. I don't want to see that.
They could be.
Maybe. Red Velvet beat Rika. Private Party beats Duke and Gavin. Thunder Rosa beats Willow Nightingale. QT Marshall beats Dylan McQueen. The Gun Club defeats Chaos Project. And Matt and the Blade defeat Five and Colt. That was Elevation. And on Dark, Hobbs and Starks defeat Rick and Aaron. Or Brick and Aaron, I think it was. Layla Hirsch defeats the Diamante in a really good match. The Varsity Blondes, who were actually on Blood and Guts last night, beat Liam and Adrian. SCU, who also was on Dynamite last night, beat Jake St. Patrick and Spencer Slade. Big Swole defeats Megan Bain. Sonny Kiss and Joe Janela get another win over Kit and Justin. Kylan King defeats Julia Hart, who made her Dynamite debut last night.
Yeah, like a night after her Dark debut, right?
Yeah, exactly. Pac defeats Serpentico. The Bunny defeats Layla Gray. The Acclaim defeat David and Vari. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page defeat the Hughes brothers, so they lost back-to-back days. The Dark Order defeat the Pretty Picture. So that just runs through the list of all of the shows. Like I said, if you're watching, you'll see all the things that go by if I ran by it too quickly, or if you want to take a look at it. But for the audio, people listening on audio on Spotify or Anchor, you'll see, that's just giving you a rundown of everything that you'll be missing on the low. So, Jeff, why don't you kick us off with Dynamite?
Okay. So obviously what I feel like is this is a special episode, so we don't need to just go in order. I say we just hit the ground running with the main event first, and then we can talk about the other stuff, because there really wasn't much other stuff. They kind of, to me, felt like they sped through the show to get to Blood and Guts. And kind of everybody else kind of was like, okay, whatever, Blood and Guts. Like, they did push storylines, but at the end of the day, no one wanted to hear it. We're all just like, show the damn double
Blood
cages so I can see some blood. Right.
I want to see some. I saw the two. I saw the two rings. I just want the cages now. That's all I'm looking for.
Yeah, like, and the fact that nobody used the other rings, like, in any match, was weird to me. I felt like there was at least one spot where you could have just been like, "Oh, he tossed them into the other ring."
Oh, you mean like you mean like that Sammy spot is what you're talking about?
Yes, you could have done that without cages to somebody at some point.
That was a crazy move.
Sammy was meant for a cage like that. But honestly, I think it was one of them things where when you watch the ending, you were furious for a hot minute. Like, you're just like, oh, what is this? I don't want this to be the ending.
I will say, so side note, everybody, me and Jeff were talking through this entire show last night, and I texted him as soon as that ending happened, and I was pissed. I mean, pissed. Yeah. Then, after digesting and all that stuff, I went back, still pissed, but like, I somewhat get it. And like, I'm not as mad about the ending. Still was a great show. It wasn't like, oh, that was a terrible show because of the ending. It's not like, oh my God, like that, the explosion. Like it was an ending at a point where I was just like, here's the problem I have with the ending. Like I'm not as mad with it, but here's the problem with the ending. And I don't know how, if you agree with me or not. You want to jump, here's my problem. They were heels like a month ago.
Yeah.
They've beaten up dads. Like,
yeah, they did.
No matter what, as a heel before, and as just a person, like and Dynamite's done a great job in general. Like AEW did a great job of like, listen, we watch the tapes, like we watch our show back, like we know what's going to happen. Like they've even pointed that out. They're not dumb, but in this moment they were dumb, as if to think he wasn't going to get thrown off the cage. Like you knew it was going to happen no matter what. Like you're not stupid.
Right.
But they made them to be stupid, and that was my problem with it. Like they've, unlike other companies, excuse me, they've made a point to point out that, hey, we rewatch our program or we've seen this stuff. Like they made a point to do that, and then that was my only issue with it. Like any other company, like I get it, they would have gotten away with it because that's them. That was my only issue with the ending. Still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean you got to think of it in this way, though. I think it's what you see with I've seen a lot of comments and stuff since like that kind of showing the two ends of it is like, yes, the initial reaction was like, because I think all of us were expecting big swerve, not big swole, big swerve.
Daniel Bryan-esque, just saying.
See, my swerve was really good. I was actually talking to our friend Philippe last night. We were also hitting the text up after the ending. Same thing. Ending was flat, he said. But like basically where my mind was going was when they started climbing the cage, right? Okay, and I see MJF and I see Jericho. At this point, the Inner Circle had pretty much like wiped the floor with the Pinnacle.
Yep.
My mind for the ending was Sammy's going to climb up because he's Sammy. He's going to get up there, and you're going to see MJF and Jericho teetering there at the edge. Like MJF's trying to get Jericho off the cage. Like he's trying to push him off the cage. So here comes Sammy, and you think, good, finally someone's going to take care of MJF. And instead, he lets MJF get out the way, and he pushes Jericho off the cage. Then you have big swerve. Sammy joins Pinnacle. That would be like, the holy shit ending, as everybody would say. The holy shit ending. Daniel Bryan's not going to come out, jump on a cage, and kick somebody off of it.
Drop from the rafters.
He's not going to shoot. It's not Sting. We already have him.
I
think you're not going to get a Daniel Bryan, honestly, until Double or Nothing, if he shows up.
See, if anything, I was thinking Andrade, honestly, would be a great swerve to pop in there somewhere.
Yeah, but Andrade is already coming after Omega. So I think that's going to be a general twist that you're going to see somewhere along the line.
True. No, I remember you sent me the thing about Andrade and Omega fighting for the AAA title. But like
Trip out Mania.
Triple Mania.
But yeah, so my thoughts, I wrote them down because I'm stupid. And
I like it. I like it, but like my issue with it is the same way he's going to turn. He would have turned back already, and I don't like that swerve like this late. Like that would have made no sense at this point. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand it, but like if that was the case, he would have swerved when he got kicked out of the Pinnacle and then backed him, not go into his match and then back him. Like that would have made no sense.
You never know. Deep-seated plan, man. Deep-seated.
I don't think it would have been as clear as that. But here's my thing also, real quick, and then we'll get into what happened in the match. They haven't won a team match yet. They've lost the Stadium Stampede. They've lost this. I'm just they're not a great team. They had this thing won multiple times though. This one, I like the other one. They had this thing won. All they had to do was pin somebody, and it was a game over.
But there is no pins.
No, it was pin or submission. It was
submission or surrender.
Is that what it was?
That's why no one pinned anybody. You can't.
I thought it said. I missed the stipulation. I thought it was because
it's not War Games rules. It's this is old style. This is Rhodes rules.
That's what I thought I read. But then, like, if you listen to the announcers, I'm pretty sure that it said, or the commentators, they had said, all right, now it can happen, pinfall or submission.
No, they're saying that it's submission or surrender, but the submission couldn't count until everybody hit the ring. So like
I knew all
saw
that.
a couple of times why like there's a bunch of
Dax started off the
Yeah.
match. So let's get into that. So Dax, I have that in my notes. Dax started off the match with Sammy. They're the two who started this whole thing off. And Dax tried to get a pin right off the bat. Like just straight up go for the pin.
Yeah, which didn't make any sense because I don't think that does anything.
Well, I'm saying,
Yeah, because it's literally surrender or it doesn't have any.
That's what I'm saying. So the beginning when they dropped all the rules, I missed that portion of it real quick because I had to run out of the room. But like when I got back, I missed all that stuff, and then I thought I heard the announcer say that. That's why I was like confused by it. But still not a sponsor.
No.
How about this one? This one's sponsored yet?
No? I hope so. A little Maxi.
Okay. So that was the start of it. Those two came out and started the matchup, and and Dax started a pin. Like that's what I saw. And then I don't know, where you want to hit on, but like that was the first attempt at a pinfall. Excuse me.
Why don't I remember the pinfall on it though?
Dax did something the same. I can't remember. I think he did his special and just pinned him right away, and then looked, and everyone was just like, not everyone's in the match. That's why I was confused by that whole part. But that happened.
Yeah. And then of course you have once the 2-on-1 because Sammy was whooping.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, man. Once Dax hit that steel, man, blood just started pouring.
They were saying that they didn't intend there to be so much blood in the match. It was a little bit more than they wanted, I guess. Or on the show in general, because couldn't Cody bleed too earlier?
Yeah, Cody was bleeding earlier, yeah.
Cody got the skin of a piece of paper. A man bleeds every match. I've never seen anybody bleed so much. He bleeds in like a regular squash match. Like it's getting like, calm down, bro. You don't have to bleed. I understand the term blood, sweat, and tears. You don't have to do it every episode, though.
He does.
You don't need all. He does.
Oh, and this, by the way, the hood is to mourn my man Jericho after that fall. Just so everyone is aware. Just that was a terrible fall.
R.I.P. Goat.
That's right.
But yeah, then of course you have Spears and Guevara hit the big Spanish fly spot.
That was a great spot. How about speaking of spots?
Huge.
Speaking of spots, how about Spears hitting Sammy in the head with the chair?
Hard.
Right?
That
like
thing had some sound.
He laid there. He didn't budge. The Spanish fly from the top rope. Sorry.
It was a double.
Where's that?
Double. Did you call it the double Spanish fly on the top rope?
If you didn't see this, everybody, Sammy's on the one ring on the ropes. Spears is on the other rope on the top rope. From behind, it was Ortiz, I'm pretty certain, hits him in the back of the knee. He jumps forward to get onto the same rope as Sammy, and then he Spanish flies him into the other ring. It was just insanity. If you did not see it, it was nuts. Sammy's
the MVP of this as well because he let them very much throw him around the entire cage. Like I've never seen a man take as much punishment as Sammy did. Sammy's going to be
Sammy's taking the pain in all of these matches.
My prediction comes at Sammy is going to be the second biggest star out of this match. Him and I believe your top three out of this match with all the people who are in it right now. I felt like if you're looking a couple years down the line, Sammy's going to be big, MJF's going to be big, and Wardlow is going to be huge. Because Wardlow gets better and better. I think that's what you're going to wind up having is them three are really going to come out to run AEW for years to come after the older timers kind of
because the rest of these guys in the match, as you point out, are
really older
timers.
WWE guys.
But they've all been around for a while in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the three guys you named, and I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they're all under 30. They're all under 30.
Yeah, without doubt. Mm-hmm.
And there's no disrespect to FTR and Pride and Power for those two teams are phenomenal.
They're huge. But I'm saying in the future, not saying the current. The current obviously goes to the the fork spot with Santana and Ortiz.
Santana that fork spot hitting MJF right in the forehead and then licking that bitch right afterwards was beautiful.
That was sickening.
I was loving every second.
It's funny. Yeah, I can see him doing that though.
So it's funny because I would have expected Ortiz to do it more than Santana because Ortiz is usually the crazier one.
Yeah, but Santana was he was up for that game. I also appreciate the Inner Circle again getting in uniform. for Stadium
Yes.
Stampede. They dressed in football outfits, and
This
now
one
in
they dress as
they
convicts.
all were in their penitentiary outfits, and they had
Yeah,
their what
that
was
was
it? They
dope.
said it was the whatever the local penitentiary was where they're from is what was on the
Mhm.
back. So for
Okay.
each place they're from, I was like, that's a cool touch
So
though, and like that's a Jericho thing because he
mhm.
said on so many podcasts that like his goal is, how to sell the most action figures, have the most outfits. So
Exactly.
there's going to be a blood and guts Jericho
There
with
better be.
penitentiary outfit that's going to come
Listen,
out
there
and it's
better
going
be
to
a
sell.
blood and guts of all of them. If you looked at it, so did the Pinnacle had like sort of like all the same similar
All
gear.
white.
They were all it
They're
was all
all
wrestling
white.
gear, but it was all white.
And I
Which
thought to myself, why are you wearing all white in a blood
yeah,
match?
yeah, that was quite interesting.
It was
Um,
not the best move there, but
a couple of moves that we didn't touch on. How about I'm pretty sure it was Wheeler who had Ortiz on his back and did the gory bomb into this cage, and he fell down between the cage and the ring.
I was like, oh, is he going to get out? That looked tight.
Right? I thought he was stuck.
I was like, oh, I think this is a botch.
Well, because if you look,
botch.
they're pulling the cage out to try and let him climb back up that thing at a certain point.
Yeah,
I was
like you saw
oh
everybody who was on
God.
the outside was like,
Yeah, like,
there you
oh
go,
God,
brother.
like, you okay, man? You
Yeah.
okay? Like Santana ran over to him right away.
He took that gory bomb like a
Like I love how AEW does their cage to where it's not attached to the ring, it's apart from the ring, like the old style used to be, and it just like those type of things can happen, and it's like, oh, what's gonna happen? Anything else you want to touch on here? I got a couple other things I saw, but is there
no,
anything you want to say?
continue, man. The floor is yours at the moment.
So another, and we're talking about here's why Jeff brings up Wardlow, and I'm gonna bring up a couple things here real quick. Wardlow comes in, waits for Guevara, Ortiz, and Santana to get up, allows him to get up, allows them to walk into the ring with him. They all grab him at once, and he destroys all three of them with ease. Ooh, gotta fix that one.
That's all right, I got you.
I must have missed the scroll on that. That was just beyond anything. Then, as you think the Pinnacle is done, like Inner Circle is up on top, everyone's standing up. Wardlow comes out of nowhere and just destroys them all again and starts knocking them over. And they had to get Ortiz had what in his hand? What the heck? It was like a
Was it part of the ring? Wasn't it the turnbuckle with the steel on the end?
Maybe it was because it was just that part. So I thought it was still in the corner. But either way,
no, he pulled that
beating the back of his legs. It's the only way they could stop Wardlow. Like Wardlow came back like 2 or 3 times. So this is why Jeff points out that Wardlow is definitely a future star because the man just kept taking
like a dynamo in this one.
Like he took Jake Hager to the ground. He picked him up on his shoulders after being attacked. Like, man, you ain't got nothing on me. Like it was just
huge.
It was phenomenal. And as the rule in wrestling usually is, one who puts the table up is the one who goes through it. The same thing is about tearing up the canvas to get to the plywood. Whoever tears the canvas up is going to get put into it. And when I say it was great is because I think it was Cash who had Santana or Ortiz halfway up already. One of them halfway up already, and they came down where the other one was already getting flipped over at that point. Like that was a little funny. But the best is Sammy just runs out of nowhere from behind, jumps on the middle rope because obviously the rest of the rope is taken out, jumps up and just assists them in the pile driver. Like
so it pretty much does the Pinnacle's own finish or one of Dax and Cash's finishers to each other. Right on the old wood.
It was.
They tore that ring up, literally.
Yeah, they did. See, you notice it was that ring. I think that's why no one used it. That ring was purposely done to get torn up.
To get torn up easier than the other one would.
Because that was the second ring.
No, because each match took place in a different ring. If you noticed, they didn't have everybody fighting in the same ring.
Yeah, but
because certain matches, like whatever, like you would see it out of the babyface corner, and they would come out. And then the other matches, you saw them come out of the heel tunnel, and they would come out and they go in the heel ring and babyface ring.
I mean, I'm cool with 2 rings. They can use them more, though. That's all I'm saying. But they tore that ring up. They tore that ring up because that's the ring that I guarantee was made, is what I was trying to say, as opposed to the other one, which is one they use probably on a week-to-week basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They don't want them tearing up that ring because they need that shit.
Yeah,
We need it
exactly.
all the time.
I think everything I saw in my notes. Oh, the other thing,
No.
how we got to the top of the cage. We didn't totally decide to take out the referee and open the cage for MJF to climb all the way up. And obviously, like I said, I'm mourning Jericho's fall is basically because MJF pushed him off the top onto. And this is where everyone's annoyed on a clearly fixed spot.
Yeah, like I get it, but I think honestly, I think it's just they don't want another Matt Hardy spot where
that's
he
my
got
point.
bonked. So
all
they
these people
overdid it this time. They gave him a My Pillow, a Tempur-Pedic mattress,
not a
or
My Pillow.
6.
It was 6 Tempur-Pedics with 6 My Pillows on that. But
I
see,
think
so here's
what
my
their
thing.
better option would have been is let him fall through, like where you couldn't see him. Like, so he falls through it, and then let it be like total crash pad central. So like you didn't see like the bent cardboard spot like this, and you're like,
well, everyone's coming out there, so I don't know how they would have basically. I mean, they could have pulled it off, but so here are 2 things. One, you all complained. This is everybody complained. Oh my God, can't have another fall like that because Matt Hardy and what happened to Matt Hardy. Now you're complaining about listen, we all knew it was gimmicks from the beginning. You knew it was going to be soft. Like you could tell from the very beginning. Like look at the ring. It was literally a fall bag that you'd see in a movie that a stuntman takes. Like, that's literally what it was. You could tell because it took up the entire section everyone was walking on. You could tell that it wasn't
right away because they had a rug out on
so the ring. The rug was on top of it.
AEW rug. They never have that out on the stage.
And you could tell because when everyone was walking, they're being really careful because you could tell that it was cardboard painted tile or
if
steel.
If you had noticed too, you know how normally they come straight through to the ring, right?
Yep.
That spot where they usually come straight through, they were using steps on the sides. No one actually ever stepped on that part of the ring or on that part of the entrance tunnel where usually that's where you walk right out. It was steps because if you walked, you would have fell through.
You would have fell through on it, and or it would have moved everything because it would have bounced. That's my point. Like you knew what it was, so don't complain about it. And they're being safe to protect not only a 50-year-old man for Christ's sakes, but in general, like you had to kind of take it that route. I agree with you, Jeff, but I don't know how the stadium's laid out because that's where they walk out all the time. I don't know. That's a pure concrete that's slab there.
Exactly. There. I don't because it's obviously there for a reason.
It's a stage. That's clearly a stage because that is a stadium. Like that's a concert hall. That's what that is. So I'm assuming that that's the stage, the legit stage, and they can't fall through it that way. And where they put the ring and everything is how they fit stands. So like they couldn't have done that, I don't think, because of how the stage is actually laid out. But like I said, you knew what that was from the moment Dynamite turned on. You knew that was a fixed spot right there that was going to happen in Blood and Guts. Like you knew it was eventually going to happen.
Oh, without that.
So I don't know why everyone's complaining about it. Like, get over it. That's all I want to say about that.
No, I agree. And obviously, so that spot hits. To me, I wrote this down right away last night after kind of like giving it a little bit of time because obviously when it first happened, it was just like, let down city. I don't want to do this. This is stupid. Come on, guys. You could do better. And then like I kind of like took some time. I rewatched it. Kind of like gave myself a little bit of a breather and like, all right, well, let's rethink this shit through a bit. Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, you were really positive at first about it.
And then, so I kind of came to it like this. I kind of looked at it like AEW is a storytelling company, not the way that like sports entertainment, but they want to tell you the story in the match. WWE is sports entertainment because they want to have a bundle of backstage talkie talks to tell an actual story like a movie. Where this, everything is weaved into their wrestling. So the way I looked at it is the psychology of the match was perfect. It kind of, so Jericho, MJF, they end the match on the top. Okay?
Yes.
MJF has been coming for Jericho's top spot.
Top spot. That's what it was. I mean, that's what it was.
So it makes sense that these two top guys are on the top spots, and he wants Jericho's spot, and he will take
pushes them off
by force. So guess who's on top at the end, literally and figuratively, is MJF. So he did exactly what he said he was going to do by any means necessary.
And he said thank you to him at the very end. He said thank you to him at the very, very end.
Because he said, I'm going to tell you I'm thank you.
And I'm not mad. I'm not mad with the spot. Like I'm not mad at any of that. I'm mad at Sammy and I'm not mad at Sammy himself. Obviously, I'm at the storyline of just listen, let him get thrown off, and then they go, oh, we quit because of him. I get that more. I understand that one more. That's my logical process to it, is what I'm saying. Is like I understand that logic more because like we got to stop this match. Like Sammy goes, we're done. Like we forfeit because of the fact that his best friend fell through, not because of the fact that I'm going to threaten to do it. That's the only issue I have with the whole story. And I'm cool with him standing on top because I said the same aspect. I get the same exact feeling at the end of the match. Like, yeah, I was upset about it, but like I understood the story, like you're saying. Like I understood the story. I got why he was at the top. He screams thank you. Like I understand all of that. But if you did that moment, everyone was focused on him anyway. No one went after MJF after the match.
Of course.
They all went right to him. So it made more sense. You're going to throw him off anyway. Let everyone run there and be like, oh my God, are you okay?
Yeah. I guess my only thing is that because they wanted to push the whole surrender thing, because the surrender is the old school way of doing a War Games match kind of thing. So they wanted to push the old school because that's what they do. And as far as like them surrendering first, obviously you would think that if they know MJF enough, that even if you surrender, he's still going to do it because he's a dick. It's plain blank period. He's a dick. So he has no heart for anybody else. He'll do it anyway. So like, yes, by psychology standards there, you would think Sammy would have known him enough to be like, I could surrender, but he's still going to throw him off the damn cage. But I think it was kind of like that's our leader. We can't let our leader get tossed off the rope. So we're going to do what we can. So we're just going to be like, I got to just surrender. And maybe MJF will be like, haha, just walk away. But I get what you're saying. The ending was a little bit muddled. They could have done it better. That's all.
That's all I'm saying. It's still
a very good match. Still an amazing night of wrestling. It just they pooped a little bit towards the end there. Nothing we can do about it. But since we're done the main event, let's just go over what else happened in this little ass show, because it wasn't a lot, honestly.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a lot. So there's another great match. I've liked every show that AEW's really put on. The only issue I had with tonight was the back-to-back promos before. I was 3 promos, right? I'm pretty sure it was 3 promos before you got to Blood and Guts.
No,
you had
it
Moxley,
was 2, right?
and Shivani, and then Miro, right?
Yeah, he cut his promo on the Nagata thing. I think a lot of it was
like you could have.
Because they said big issue
all
was
that in between. That's what I'm saying.
I think it was how they put it together, because they said that the first hour of the show was just on television. Like they offered refunds if people were unhappy with the first half of the show, because even though you're in the stadium, you watched it. It's been taped for 2 weeks. They said, but the crowd noise that you heard in the first hour was live crowd noise. They had the live crowd cheer on the recorded match, and that was your crowd for the first hour. So really? I think they said only 5 people in the crowd actually asked for a refund. But the first hour of television, they just watched on the. Yeah, there's always one. There's always a couple of dicks.
Or 5, apparently.
Yeah, 5 assholes. But they said that's. So they did that because I guess they really didn't want anybody else working on that night. Hence, like the gimmick stage, the this, that. Like, I think all that was set, but they didn't want to do anything else that could have ruined it. So, like, the only match they saw was a 45-minute match and those promos pre-hand. The ones that were on stage.
On the stage.
So I think the Moxley one was still part of that first hour. But then I guess it was like, we got to give them something. They're literally going to sit here for 2 hours and get a match. So they hit you with the back-to-back Omega promo and the Miro. And on top of that, you hit them with the Miro promo. By the way, Miro is a badass. He said,
I love it.
What was it saying? He said,
so
what will it be like for the man who doesn't mind dying when I'm willing to kill you?
What will happen when the man who doesn't mind dying meets the man who doesn't mind killing? I may paraphrase a little bit. I was like, damn. Like, I was excited when I heard that. I was like, yes.
I think they pulled it perfect, because what's going to happen here is, in my book,
he said, I don't want him to forfeit. He better show up.
Is because Darby got tossed down some concrete steps tonight because he's a nutcase. Good thing they didn't put him in Blood and Guts. He would have fell on steel. He does not care.
So he's basically been resting there for a couple weeks.
So they're going to say he's hurt but that's what they're going to tell you.
He's going to show up. He's going to show up no matter what.
No, but he's going to be hurt. So when Miro blows him out the water, it doesn't hurt the Darby Allin character because, last week he got knocked unconscious by being thrown down concrete steps. He showed up because he's a fighting champ, but he really shouldn't have been fighting.
He jumped off of that thing, by the way. Since we're talking about it, he jumped off of it onto concrete with two guys laying there. Like, he didn't give a rat's about that.
He doesn't care. He just did it.
So that was a promo. So you had Darby do this, jump on top of them, and knock them down on concrete. Then they threw them down the stairs. Then Miro comes out later in the night, we'll say, and then says, I got this contract right here. I am going for this team. I told you to come for your titles. You were all on warning, and here it is. Also, they pointed out that Kip Sabian is going in for surgery because Miro busted his arm.
Yeah, before he said, I forgive you.
Yeah, and held him like a baby and coddled him. Like,
yeah, what a nutcase. I love it.
It was great. I loved everything about Miro. So let's talk about the promos. Let's just jump back one real quick to this Tony Schiavone promo for this big announcement.
It was weird because, I wonder if something, injury-wise is wrong with Hangman, that, maybe that's why they had him take that loss last week. Because, he wasn't shown. Actually, honest to God, I don't think I saw any. Was there any Dark Order involved in this entire show tonight?
Nope, not at all. They were in dark.
So,
Dark
weird to pull that, but you haven't seen a Hangman at all. I wonder if he's injured or something like that. So that's why they killed him out the first spot, just so they can have. My assumption is first off that it's going to be Orange Cassidy.
Yes,
because they're filling the Daily's place for the Double or Nothing pay-per-view.
Yep, Daily's place is getting filled for Double or Nothing.
And can you imagine the freshly squeezed chant live with 12,000?
Dude, people were chanting at last night. People were going crazy.
That was even a full. That's not a full crowd. You put a full 11,000 in there. That's going to be such good pay-per-view material. I think that's why Pac is great. I think there's going to be some kind of bullcrap way that Pac is going to lose to Orange next week.
So they had
something to do with that earlier. Best friends.
They had a match earlier in the year though, or last year it was, I think, Pac and Cassidy, and Pac won that one.
Yeah,
but it was a great match. No one's sleeping on that. But this promo, this big announcement, which is kind of somewhat of a letdown.
Mm-hmm.
But Omega was just great because Omega. The best one I think was the fly or whatever it was on Omega on his white jacket as he's sitting there talking, walking on him. But you get the big announcement of Tony Schiavone saying it's going to be Pac or Cassidy, and then he goes, "All right, let's all cut it. It's going to be Pac. Let's just announce it. Just say it's going to be Pac at Double or Nothing to face me for my title. He's already beaten me. He's proven he could beat me. Something like that.
Exactly.
To then Orange Cassidy coming out wait a minute, don't forget about me. It's but my issue, the only thing I had a problem was he said Pac and Orange Cassidy, and then he goes, "Yep, that's it. We're paying." So Kenny Omega feeds off with just the Pac part, misses the Cassidy part, and that's probably his gimmick. I could get that. He's being an a-hole. I understand it, but just let him say the Pac and just cut him off. Take the mic, and then Tony Schiavone comes back with, "No, it's Pac and Cassidy fighting to see who's facing you."
Right.
But the best was taking the glasses off, the Ray-Bans off of Cassidy's face, putting them on knock, and just laughing in his face. And then he walks off.
He really did play the perfect prick character, though. He was just being ha ha ha. You're and that's the smart way to pull this feud too, is basically calling him a joke. You're the joke of this place right now because you're a funny guy wrestler.
Yeah, he goes, "You're a wrestler, but you're funny. You're not me." I'm
telling you, that's going to be great. I think
that'll be a great match.
I remember in the Orange Cassidy Pac match, remember everybody was blown away by how good Orange Cassidy actually is.
Yeah,
because before that it was just a sloth style slow kick stuff, and you're that guy's funny. Now you're if you put him in a real match with Kenny, I think you're gonna get a gold ass match right there.
Well, you will. I've seen some of his indie stuff before, and that's what you're gonna get. I haven't seen it in person, obviously, but I've seen it before, and he can go. And again, they've shown that more and more, obviously, from the very beginning when he first started off. So then once he hit face Pac, it's been nothing but think about the Jericho match. That was a great match.
Exactly.
It was a great match. He's going to have a great match with Kenny, and that's going to happen. You're going to see Kenny versus Cassidy. We're calling that now. That's one match for next week. Another match for next week, which is also a promo, was Moxley taking on Nagata-san.
Nagata-san. That's going to be huge. With I mean,
it's the first
New Japan
time,
move, man.
First time that this title has ever been defended outside of Japan, outside of New Japan, the wrestling company. If I remember them saying it correctly.
Yeah, they said first time ever.
No, I know it's not. I'm pretty sure it's not the first time it being defended outside of Japan. It was outside of New Japan, as in the wrestling company.
Yeah, exactly. Like New Japan's titles usually don't get defended on anything that isn't New Japan. So.
And Nagata-san has wrestled for other companies before New Japan.
Right.
He was what was his name before? It wasn't Nagata-san.
And when he was in WCW, I forget what his name was. It was WCW back in the day.
Yeah, it was WCW. I couldn't remember what his name was back in WCW, so I was trying to figure out. He wasn't oh my god, I can see it. Like I see it, like they showed the promo of him in WCW, and I remembered it like when they were going through the thing, and I remember seeing it, I'm like, oh, and I couldn't remember I can't remember his name is now. But yes, he's wrestled before. He's a legend, and the promo that Moxley cut on him was phenomenal. Like, listen, you're a legend, I get it. He goes, but when we're in the ring, it don't matter. Like, it's all over.
Plus, he said he disrespected him by calling him a punk.
Yes.
So once you disrespect him, Moxley no longer has respect for you.
Yeah.
Basically, kind of like a don't. It's kind of like a don't be what do you call that thing? Don't meet your heroes. You'll always be let down. Yeah. So I think it's like one of them kind of scenarios. So
it'll be
I'm
interesting.
Really excited about that. I think it's going to be a huge match.
It'll be a great match. That's next week. There's a bunch of matches next week. Another match is SCU taking on the Young Bucks for the title,
and that hopefully getting ended.
That's probably what's going to happen. But what does happen? But how did this come about, Jeff? It came about because of last night's Blood and Guts. Talk about that 4-way tag match.
I was disappointed, to be honest with you, because I get that like these guys are still young. So, like, you're not going to it's not burying them yet, and you kind of knew it was going to be SCU who won this match anyway. It was basically like you wrote down here. It was blind tags all over the place. It really was just it was a mess for 80% of it. Like, people were just running all over. Luchasaurus at one point, I think he kicked everybody in the face in one feel swoop. I think he beat up the Acclaimed by himself with. It was like a roundhouse where Bowens dipped. It hit Platinum Max, and then he came back around and hit Bowens in the back of the head, putting him down. Down. And I like the Luchasaurus moments. I think that's huge. Is like he has those big like burst moments where he shows his dominance, and then usually after that is when Jungle Boy comes in, and he obviously is the workhorse of that team and is going to put more up there.
They don't let Luchasaurus get any onslaught because every time he does, he destroys people, and it's like, all right, get out. Like, we don't want to. Right. They don't want to destroy the dinosaur. I guess is what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah, I guess. But then I really was hoping that for some I know it's too early for them, but I was kind of hoping for a Varsity Blondes win. I love them. I think they're like such a good tag team.
I agree, but I don't see it happening.
Pillman. Not yet. I think that they're going to keep building.
You have to wait. You have to wait for Stone Cold Steve Austin to come out as a manager, and then you'll see it. That's what it'll happen.
Yeah.
So they get their wins, but the point is you knew it was going to be SCU from the very beginning because they're going to get broken up next week. Like that's what's going to be.
It's the end. I think it's going to come down to after the match. I think Chris Daniels is going to he's going to retire on the spot. Like I think because he's had a talent relations and all. And I think his career is good. I think that's the whole point of this.
He said he doesn't want to finish yet, though. From what I heard, like he still wants to. He still has a few more left in him.
Yeah, but I feel like he could kind of pull like a retirement from full-time wrestling thing. Like
what if
like Kaz do his thing for a little bit?
What if
Kaz is a beast?
Hear this? What if they beat him right, and the Young Bucks go? How about a double or nothing? We give you a second chance, or you lose. And Daniels has to retire.
I could see that. I don't want it only because I kind of am. I'm over the SCU thing, to be honest. Like
because the next thing that's going to happen is you're going to put Moxley and Kingston against the Bucks at Double or Nothing, and I
Yeah.
don't want to see. They have great tag teams in AEW. I don't want to see a makeshift
It's
tag team
weird that there's
win
a
titles.
makeshift tag going.
I
I
don't
don't think
want
they're not
like
winning the
like
titles.
I
But
don't want them to win the titles. And like you have, like I said, you have the Varsity Blondes who could take on Young Bucks and lose. Like I'd rather see a tag team go after them or win the titles than and again, I know why Moxley but I think Moxley and Kingston should take on the Good Brothers at that pay-per-view, but that's just me.
I think it's all going to be because they already took on the Good Brothers already. Remember was that New Year's Eve thing, or not that one? What's the other one? The St. Patty's Day Smash or whatever. It was Good Brothers versus Moxley and Kingston. So they've already had that match, so they're not going to repeat.
No, it's going to be the Bucks. That's what I'm saying. And I just don't think it should be. They're going to put the titles on the line, and that's the only part I don't like about it. But yeah, no, I mean, like I said, it's going to happen. You're going to see the breakup. I don't know about the retirement. I will say though, you didn't bring one. What about that line that Caster said about
said that
the dark side of the ring line?
Yeah, that was.
He said you could be on the dark side of the ring like your father. Like, damn.
Yeah, he went right after his bitch ass.
That was borderline right there. That's all I'm going to say about that. I got nothing more to say on that. I don't want to say.
I gave it like a quick uh-oh. But at the same time, I feel like his raps have to get like approved by them. Like I feel like he went to Pillman and was like, "You mind if I use this?" You know, I don't think that he's just going out there and like putting real heat on that. I mean, he might, for all we know. But I feel like it'd be like the professional thing would be like, yo, I'm just letting you know, like, if I use this line about your dad, are we cool?
Yeah.
Because he wore like he has his dad's trunks kind of looking on today with the tiger look.
Yep.
But I mean, this was a match where you knew what was going on. It was going to be SCU with the win. They did win with the Meltzer driver, best Meltzer ever. We had Cody and QT.
That was an interesting match. I love how Cody's going to whip him with the belt. He gets it taken from him by the referee, and the referee allows QT to hit him with the belt. Like, excuse me?
He then looks like, oh no, like I thought there was going to be an instant DQ.
Right,
because
that's what I'm saying.
Fighting so hard to keep Cody's off, and also it was like,
and then let's QT beat him.
Well, QT, you got one good shot in, so now give me that belt. Like,
yeah, exactly. It made no sense whatsoever.
No, I agree.
The back and forth moves to the tombstone pile driver that Cody finally hits. Like,
that takes a lot of strength, man.
You could tell obviously they've trained each other a lot because literally it was counter move, like they were back and forth with their moves and countering each other. But the tombstone pile driver counters back and forth till he finally hits it, gets a two fall and kicks out. Then he hits it with a crossroads, which by the way, the crossroads is the only finisher I feel like in WWE or AEW. Oh God, AEW that's been kicked out of. Like no other finisher has been ever kicked out of that I can recall, except for this.
Not like that anyway.
So he doesn't get that, but then he finally puts on the figure four and beats him.
Yes.
Then my man Anthony Ogogo
comes out, bolo
goes right in the gut. Cody goes down, and he takes that. I love how he put that flag on top of him and said, "All right, I'm out. Peace. Here's my UK flag, my heritage. Let's go." I was like, "All right." I respected it.
It was definitely a cool drop there. Like
I think you'll see Cody take him on at Double or Nothing. That's what I think you'll see.
Yeah, you'll see him in a go. I just want to see if a go can actually like wrestle.
Go.
You've spent this much time waiting for him to a go, and now I need him to a go.
I also say I think they're purposely the same thing with Wardlow. Like we waited so long to see Wardlow wrestle, and he's wrestled maybe 6 matches, if that in total so far.
But he's been a beast in every one of them. So
the same thing though is you're going to see a go, and he's going to fight. Listen, the first person Wardlow took on was Cody. If I remember, he may have had like a dark match or whatever, but like it was basically Cody.
It was that Cody match when the MJF thing. So
yeah, but I thought there was one before that. Like he had like a dark match with some random person, like a scrub.
Yeah, and I think I beat the hell out of somebody in 5 minutes.
But like I said, the first main match he had was Cody. So Cody's going to take on the new guy again in a go and put his life on the line, trusting him because Cody can carry a match if there is something that goes wrong. You know what I mean? Like out of all the wrestlers you're going to trust, you're going to trust Cody. And so like out of all the wrestlers, like listen, my first guy I want to fight, it's Cody. Like listen, they all know what they're doing. I'm not saying they don't, but like they all have storylines over here, whereas Cody is focused on all of this right now. Like it just makes the most sense.
Oh, 100% agree. 100%. So that one sets up another great match for whatchamacallit, apparently. We already talked about Scorpio Sky and
we did
Paige.
Britt Baker, Julia Hart match. We didn't.
So we're down to Baker and Hart. It was a quick pinfall by the Baker.
No, it was not. She lifts her off the ground before she puts in the pin. She was going to win the pinfall.
And then she
lifts her off the pinfall and then lockjaw her and wins. And so I think they screwed this up. They're supposed to show that Double or Nothing, I think, ad after this one, but they showed it 2 matches in advance to say Baker, Cheetah. Like, otherwise, there's really no point for that. So Baker and Cheetah at Double or Nothing should be a great matchup. Baker takes the title, and you'll see me with my title on my shoulder in like a month from now, because it's going to happen. That's that match. Taz did a quick video about technique and saying that again, you don't own the title. I do. From back in the day, I still own that title. Taz did a quick video on techniques about Christian Cage, the Powerhouse Hobbs, saying the Powerhouse Hobbs is more technical.
Yeah. It was kind of cool because remember he used to do this segment, but he used to be impartial to the segment. And then he suddenly it's about Christian Cage and he's throwing all that shade at him, which is a great move, by the way.
I love it. So how Dynamite started off last night is here in the making right in front of us. And let's talk about it. And that's how we're going to end the show today. Moxley and Kingston take on Nakazawa and Omega.
I wish it was Nakamura. I said that last week. I said Nakamura.
Yeah, I know. So I got stuck.
We're speaking it into existence.
Listen,
Nakamura to AEW.
And I said they defeat them, and I honestly don't think I don't know. So Don Callis comes out and says Omega's not in the building, but the best part is all of the announcers are saying we saw him back there. We saw him back there. Like the
they want to say on purpose. They want to prove the point like that. Don Callis is just a snaky ass liar. And that's
what I was saying, but like the announcers are saying it, so like Kingston and Moxley aren't stupid. Moxley's looking back like, all right, where you at? Where you at? And he's looking at attack from behind with the championship.
He's tricky.
Then basically, the chops. I think the chop fest back and forth between Kingston and Omega was fantastic.
Yeah, because Kingston gave like no Fs. He was just like, I don't think Omega knew how to act, man. He was like, this dude's beaten. Yeah. He's like, good luck, bro.
They kicked him in the back of the head. That was great.
That's how you got to do it. When you least expect it, kick him in the back of the head.
Exactly. Then Omega walked away from the ring. He was going to try and get into the ring. Kingston stopped him, and then he walks away. Omega just walks away. Basically, Nakazawa. I slipped it this time. Nakazawa basically took the loss here because he had him in the submission. Then they ended up doing like their tag team maneuver and beat them. But what happens after this match, Jeff? What happens?
Well, obviously, when you saw the Bucks come out and that whatever, as Tony Schiavone called it, he called it he said they're wearing someone's curtains.
Yeah,
which was hilarious. The Good Brothers, obviously in fashion of Bullet Club / Elite, they come out and they hit that Magic Killer on. They hit him on Magic. Who did he hit it on? Was it on Mox? It was a Kingston.
I'm pretty sure
Kingston always taking the goddamn bumps. So to take the Magic Killer is great. So that means, as usual, I think there's not going to, unless they have something planned for Double or Nothing. My thought process here is there was a tweet sent by Tonga, maybe like the first time when Good Brothers and when the Good Brothers and the Bucks first got together as like the full Super Elite or whatever.
Yeah.
Tonga tweeted, John Moxley, it looks like you could use some help. ... So do you think, since obviously with Nagata coming over next week to fight and New Japan Double or Nothing, you're going to see Kingston and Moxley getting beat up at some point, whether it's during the match or after the match, and all of a sudden OG Bullet Club shows up?
Yes, I do. I think OG Bullet Club shows up at Double or Nothing. That's still been I've been thinking it, and you talked about it. I've been waiting for them to show up, and I agree that I think it's Double or Nothing that happens because, like we talked about earlier, it's Kingston and Moxley taking on the Bucks for the title, and
Right.
like I said, my fear is because that's happening, that may be the
reason that
change
they
in
would win the titles.
Yeah. I didn't want to bring it up first. I was waiting to bring it up, waiting for you to bring it up here, and
No,
you just magically
I
bring it
could
up.
definitely see that.
That's why I don't want to see them to win it, but I think that is where we'll finally see the Bullet Club show up and appear because multiple reasons. But the biggest reasons of all is that the world's starting to get back into normal. There's a full crowd at Double or Nothing this time around. Like things are starting to calm down a lot, thankfully. You know, praise God.
I think you want that super pop.
I think it's going to happen.
That pop would be like deafening if all of a sudden they turn around and here's the whole Bullet Club out there. Obviously, with Kenta coming back for his second go around, but then you'll have the Tongans. Shit, you're gonna have everybody. Switchblade.
Dude, so I say Switchblade's gonna be there. That's gonna be the thing. Jay White, baby. Like you're gonna see Jay White. So I don't know if you'll see the entire Bullet Club. I don't know how much freedom you're gonna have, but I think you'll get Switchblade and then Tonga and Kenta. I think Kenta will definitely be there.
It's going to be two of them, is my assumption, to help, because it's going to be. I'm assuming only the Good Brothers are going to come out.
Because Kenny has his match later.
If for some reason Kenny comes out, then I got it as being 3 Bullet Club members. Like it's going to match them. You know what I'm saying? So like,
no, I think they'll overpower them.
You could have a Switchblade come out to
Switchblade and Tonga could come
take
out.
on an Omega, but I think Omega, is the heavyweight champion right now? It's still Will Ospreay, right?
Yes,
it's Will. Yeah, so he wouldn't come out because it's not on a Bullet Club member right now.
No, I'm pretty sure it's not.
Because you got to think for his kind of like quest for gold, maybe Omega's going to have a New Japan guy next because he owns everything else. So I think Ospreay's like the unified champion. I think he has that end, like the Intercontinental looking thing. So I think Ospreay's like a double champ right now.
Yeah, Will Ospreay is the champ. Jay White is the never open weight champion.
Yeah,
that's what he is.
So I don't know. We'll see it, man. We'll see. This was another killer Dynamite. The main event was much talked about, much maligned, much praised. Everybody from 5 stars to 0.
I thought it was a 5. I thought it was a 5-star match, and like I said, every Dynamite that we've reviewed so far, and every Dynamite I've seen, there have been,
there's always going to be imperfections. There's no such thing as a perfect show.
Well, and I'm not. That's my thing. It's like I'm not mad at the imperfections. Like I'm not mad at that. Like they tell a great story in their wrestling. They tell a great story on TV. Like obviously, like there's some downs here and there, but like as a whole, I have enjoyed the entire product of AEW from Jump Street, and this is no different. And I'm not listening. You want to say I'm showing face. Listen. I love everything SmackDown's doing right now too. If you want to talk about another company right now, I love everything SmackDown's doing. Raw is trash. Love everything SmackDown's doing. But the same thing. It's like they're putting a great product out there, great wrestling, just great everything. And that's what I'm saying. Like yeah, there's errors, but AEW is doing a great storytelling aspect, great wrestling, and they know how to put on a great show. And I've enjoyed it. And there's again here and there, like what happened to the wrestlers. Okay, I had a problem with the story that I thought it should go, but it was a great show. It still was a great ending. Like you said, the way you look at it, I said, when I relaxed about it, I'm like, okay, I understand it. Like I see why it happened the way it happened.
Yeah. When you're that caught up in a match, sometimes the initial reaction is always going to be your final reaction.
Exactly.
Because you don't think at that point. At that point, you're just so hype in this match, and you're in it. And you're just like, all right, this is what's going to happen. This is it. Oh my God, this is this. And all of a sudden something else happens. You're like, man, what the man?
Exactly.
But I think at the end of the day, it's going to be something that is going to be because people have noticed like that the tweets about it and stuff like that have kind of shifted since like last night. It was like, oh my God, they let us down again. They let us down again. Like they did with the sprinklers. nothing we can do about the sprinklers, bro.
No,
They
it's just
happened.
what it is.
It
It's the
was
same with this.
a sparkler
It happened
match.
and it was showing. Like
Yeah.
you knew it was going to happen. And I said I was upset about it, but I wasn't like, oh my god. Like first of all, I'm not going to tweet anything about it. Like listen, I respect everything they do, and I'm never going to like come at that. Like listen, I can't do that stuff. I'm not making that fall from the top of that cage. You want to do that? All these people on Twitter and stuff complaining. No, it ain't happening. I'm not taking the fall. Like I respect everything they do. Like I completely do. Like no matter if it's a botch or not, or it was my point of it was the storytelling part of it was the only part of it. But again, it was still a great match and everything else. Like everyone just needs to calm down and just relax about it. At the end of the day, you enjoy the entire match. Like that's what it's about.
Yep,
that is what it's about.
Oh, there was also an idiot who literally posted.
It usually is.
This doesn't look anything. It's not like Mick Foley in '98. Okay, I bet you if you asked Mick Foley, he would not want to ever take that bump again either. But
he never did take that bump again.
Okay? Never did. Because he wasn't. He understands now that his body is broken as a human being.
And let's point out the highest fall we've also seen again since that, besides falling through the ring, the cage on accident. I might add, by the way, on accident.
That was messy.
Was halfway up the cage at last year's Hell in a Cell, I think it was, or 2 years ago, whenever it was, where he got pushed off the side of it onto the thing. Right. And that was the closest you ever see it again. Like, no one's taking those falls again. Like, no. Like, it should have been that. Like, it's just crazy.
Darby Allin will.
Well, it's different. It's Darby. But, like, you're not going to see that type of a fall. Say that type of fall. Like, Darby
Allin took a jump like Jericho. Come on, man. Like,
no, this is not happening with Jericho.
A 50-year-old man. Not. And you think he's just going to be like, you know what I'm going to do? After being safe my entire 30-year career and trying my best to protect my body and soul, I'm going to launch myself onto this steel grate from 15 feet in the air and hope that I don't become paralyzed. Because like, they're always going to be idiots. And to those idiots, I don't like you. That's how that's going to have to go.
I have other words like Jews, but, I agree. At the end of the day, listen, you watch it to enjoy the show and enjoy the storytelling. And that's what we did. We enjoy the storytelling and the show. And that's all that matters. And another thing I respect about AEW is if there is an issue and there was a botch or something, they bring it up the next episode. And they talk about it. Like the Sparkler incident. They brought it up. They joked about it and they brought it. They didn't like overlook it. Like they brought it up and listen, here's what it is. We know
and then guess what? They will do their best to fix it. Honest to God. They will. Like so if there is major backlash, which I don't think there may be anymore. Like I think it's kind of like that one was as bad as the Sparkle incident. It's like, well, yeah, the Inner Circle put it out there to protect Jericho just in case. Right. They'll find something to make it sound normal.
They had to figure out how to do it without saying because they already forfeited the match. So like, it all depends. But either way, like the video, share the video, subscribe to this channel with notification bell turned on. All right. Don't forget all that. Since we forgot at the beginning, we're doing it.
Oh, and guys, if like we just started this
couple of jars,
slapping slashes. So if you guys don't want to look at us, I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't. We're beautiful people. But if for some reason you don't want to look at us, or you're busy and you just want to hear our beautiful voices in your eardrums, we are now on Spotify. There is an audio version to these shows. We'll put basically, so this show ends now o'clock. So within the hour or so, I will have the audio version uploaded to Spotify and Anchor. So please go to Spotify, look up Couple of Jars. That is couple space jars. You'll see our cool logo, like the one up there.
That way.
There.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
it'll look like that one. And click on it, follow. And guess what? You'll know every week when our audio version of this same podcast comes out. And you can just listen if you can't watch. But definitely subscribe to YouTube. We're beautiful people. Watch us.
Yep. And hopefully we have more content coming.
Yeah. I agree.
We
coming soon.
We got a lot more to.
So on this YouTube channel, we also do Fortnite.
We haven't done it in a while.
In like 8 years, but we will. We're going to start putting stuff on it.
On Twitch, usually you can check us streaming. I've been streaming MLB and FIFA and stuff like that. But again, it's been a little more scarce recently. But hopefully we get back into that with more Fortnite content for you guys and all that kind of stuff. So we would appreciate you guys tuning in. And, unless you have something else to say, I'll see you guys next week.
Let's sign off this thing. We just killed an hour.
Peace.
Later.